Hello and welcome to ULPLM.
Universal Light, Pure Love Ministries.
And tonight we have a very special guest, brother, someone we've worked with online for a while that does is also a content creator and life coach. Welcome, Israel Santana Kelly. Thank you for being here, Israel.
Yes, welcome, and thank you.
You could go ahead on in. He's managing the live.
Can you see me now?
He's doing all the producing right now, all the engineering.
All right.
Yeah, you can come on. I can't see you yet, but that's okay. And life coach. Let's see here. I'm looking at the live to see if you're on. I'm not seeing you on the live yet.
We are live.
We are live.
We are live, yes. There you go. Boom, just like that.
And welcome. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you for having me. Let me see if I don't know what's going on tonight with this internet. Like
I don't either.
So slow, but everything.
It's been a little
yeah. So Tommy's coming soon?
Yep, I believe she is.
I hope so. We lost her there for a second. I'm not sure. Oh, yep, she's there.
She's coming.
Right. Perfect. How you guys been?
Pretty good. Great, How about yourself?
Good. I slept for 3 hours. And on Sunday, that's great for me because I rarely take naps and whatever. But I slept 3 hours. I wanted to watch a movie, but then I fell asleep. The TV was watching me.
There you go. Yep.
You work hard, man. You deserve a little break sometimes.
Thank you. You guys are excellent. Outstanding what you're doing.
Well, thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
So we'll just go ahead and start, but welcome everybody. Please share this everywhere you can, everywhere you want to. We're waiting for Tammy Winterstrom to come on, but
she may just be a cheerleader.
Israel, did you send her a link, dude?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. So she just let her know that she sent one.
Let me make sure that she saw it.
Okay. I'm just sharing out a little bit.
Yeah, let me do the same real quick. Invite
edit later.
Yeah. The joy of
we put it on YouTube.
Wow.
Everybody that's coming, that's last night. It's going to be amazing and fun getting to know Israel Santana Kelly.
Thank you.
So what's been going on, man? How you been?
Busy. Meeting things. Family too, and all nine yards.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy's here.
There we go.
Right on.
Yay.
I get excited like a little kid.
So do
I.
Hey, girlfriend.
I can't hear anybody.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear us?
You guys hear me?
I hear you.
We hear you loud and clear. Maybe it's something about.
We're in the show.
In the meantime, let me share a few groups to see what's going on.
I'm not hearing anyone. You guys.
You want to go?
Let me try my headphones.
All right.
Maybe this will work.
All right. At least we can hear her now, so that's progress.
Yes, progress. Thank you all for bearing with us for a minute while we kind of work through all the technical stuff.
Hello.
Check. 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Check to the 1 to the 2.
To the 3 to the 4.
Remember that song? Check baby, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, check baby, 1, 2.
The rump shaker. All I want to do is zoom, and a boom, boom.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a great song, man.
Yeah.
90s rap, man. I don't know. I've been getting into that lately, like just the beats. No rap, but just kind of hip-hop beats. I've been just listening to those. They help me concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, can you hear us now or not yet?
Tammy, can you hear us?
Can you hear me, Tammy?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's going on. It's been weird on the internet. I've been having problems doing lives lately.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it's a challenge.
But it is what it is.
It's easy going.
We work through it.
Yeah, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Let me see what's going on.
So while we're waiting for Tammy, we'll just conduct conduct our interview. We have a couple questions for you, Mr. Kelly. No, just kidding. No, we've got a couple questions, and then I was thinking,
intimidated now. I'm intimidated.
And then after that, I was thinking, and Tammy might have a question too, and then maybe let the viewers ask questions and just take questions, and then do that for a while. Just kind of show them what you're all about. Anyway, my first question is your background. How you came to your knowing that your abilities or your philosophy now, like what brought you to this place? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You understand my question?
Yes. I was brought Jehovah's Witness, like many of us, many religions and whatever. So I was, as a child, I was exposed to this Armageddon, end of the world, we're gonna be judged and all that yachts. So I was raised very scared of life.
Yeah.
Making sure that I was doing the right thing as a teenager and so on. And as we know, all religions are stepping stones to a wider understanding. So many of us went through that. When I was about 15 years old, my granddad, my dad's dad, gave me a book, a esoteric book, privately, because it was not something that it was accepted in my family. And the book was from Ramada Maharshi, was one of the Ramada Maharshi's book. At that age of 15 years old, a teenager reading Ramada Maharshi, most of people around me, when I used to read it secretly, because I cannot read it in my house, but that was not the publication that we were supposed to be reading. When I used to go to the park and whatever and read my book at that age, many adults and even older kids used to tell me, "Why are you reading this old people book? What is this about?" So I was fascinated by this whole spiritual thing. And that's
we're having a little problem with sound. Your sound is cracking up. Is our sound cracking up for you?
No, your sound is good.
Okay. Can you go back about, I don't know, a couple of sentences?
To 15 years old.
Yeah, 15 years old.
15 years old, then my dad's dad gave me a book, a Ramada Maharshi book.
Okay.
And at that time, I needed to read this book privately. I couldn't show my family that I was reading Ramada Maharshi, because Ramada Maharshi was an esoteric book, and more of my family they were Jehovah's Witness and the whole nine yards. And when I used to read this book in the parks and whatever, a friend's house and so on, people used to ask me, "Why are you reading this old people book? What is this about?" And so it was very difficult. I did not understand most, but I have the feeling about Ramada Maharshi and Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and all this. So I like this. I used to like this thing. I didn't understand much of it, and I still have a lot of residues from my religious belief. So it took many years in order for me to, little by little, accept myself more and more. It took a very long time.
That's awesome. So what was this book? What was this, Hindu?
Your Ramada Maharshi is about non-duality. It's the concept, the introduction of the non-duality.
Okay.
It was one of the books that was not written by him. However, somebody translate his lectures and so on, and that became a book. Besides that, I used to have a few more books, and then somebody took me to some kind of a meeting of Gnosticism. So this Gnostic thing, belief. And I was fascinated with they talking about astral projection and all that. I was fascinated by all that. Even if I did not really understand much of it, I was fascinated by it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's really almost.
Yeah, it really. I mean, that's the whole thing. I did the same thing. I mean, I learned from all of the religions. Right. I mean, I learned they are stepping stones, and I learned, it's important. And I think that you do important work as far as, the work that I've seen that you do is opening people and expanding people's, perspectives on things. And that's important. I feel like that's probably very important, especially in this day and age, of just getting people to expand and understand themselves, and their essence better, and that oneness. It is a good thing. All right, I got the next question for you. All right. What are some of your methods, and how do you feel they help your clients?
What I do when I have private conversations with clients, I allow them to do what they need. By me doing so, I'm able to give exactly to a person who's asking for assistance, for help, the things that are going to be useful for them. It's not about me applying a concept or trying to lead someone to something. However, accommodating to the needs, to what they want to explore, what they want, how they want to expand. And I use their relief. I don't. Can you hear me good?
Yep.
I don't try.
Tammy's mic is on though. You might want to turn Tammy's mic off because she's talking. I don't think she understands she's mic.
Can Tommy hear us? Yes. No, she cannot hear us.
Yeah, I don't think she can hear us.
Yeah, she's having troubles.
Let me put her down and now to see if that fixes the problem. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna put her down.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put her back on to see if that fixes the problem. Tommy, are you there? Tommy? Maybe you can send her a message saying to restart her device.
There she is. Tammy? Can you hear us?
All right. I just sent her a little text. We'll see if she gets it.
All right. So anyway, you were at sorry folks, we're just having some technical difficulties. You were basically at what, you don't really show them or apply a technique. It's more kind of guiding them to find their own ways, their own way.
Yeah. Yes, the life coaching, when I do the life coaching, this is specifically for that. It's a way to allow the client, allow the person to find the way by themselves by trying to remove any obstacle that doesn't allow them to see things differently. Most of humans, most of the people that I have interaction with, they going over stress and anxiety and on and on and on. And this is that we all went through this. We all, at some point in our life, we experience all this.
Right.
And others will be able to understand it now and help other humans. We went through all this in which we struggle about our perceptions and on and on and on in life itself. So what I do without trying to change anything, I let them talk. I let them to express the way they see it. And then after I have enough material to work with, then I start asking questions. When they say, "But I have this problem. I have financial problems, or I have problems with my husband, or I have this whatever is the situation, whatever they see as a problem," then after I have enough information, then I ask them questions. They answer the questions themselves. They're able to find the answers through themselves. Right. So I'm just there to listen. It's more the life coaching thing is just to listen to them, have somebody to listen to you, the way you feel, the way you see it. And then I'm able to get the points in which if I ask them certain things, they will get a different way to see it by themselves.
Yeah.
That's good. And that kind of streamlined into my next question was, how is it that you assist those that kind of are stuck in that emotional, that emotional spot where they just can't see past that one thing, whether it's trauma or anxiety or depression? How do you assist those to get unstuck from, that place where that's their whole life?
Like say with somebody with depression.
Yeah, I use exactly what I use with me. So I use myself the way that I felt, what I've experienced. I come back to stages in their life in which it all came from childhood, from the way that we were raised, from the conditions, the filters. And I have a lot to say about that because I went through a very hard childhood, extremely childhood. The childhood was pretty hard. My times as a teenager was even harder.
Yeah.
So as I come back to there without feelings, through them, I am able to understand why they think the way they do. Because from my end, I was in their shoes. I was homeless myself. I was sick myself. I was abused myself, and on and on and on and on and on and on. The whole package. I have the whole package. So as I sympathize and identify with them through their own memories, what I try to do, I try to ask permission for them to revisit the memory, but without the emotion, just like observing whatever happens.
Yeah.
Now, when they tell me about the characters in the movie, sometimes their siblings or the parents and on and on and on, then we identify how everything was developed in their life. And if this person that was before part of your life as a teenager or as a child still in your life, and if the behavior of this person has changed, and if they see a change on this person, and they understand that themselves, myself, I made mistakes when I was when I was having my kids in the whole 9 yards. I was not perfect. I was trying to raise my kids the way that I was brought up.
Yeah.
So of course, I used to believe in discipline and the whole 9 yards like everybody else because that's what I learned.
Yeah.
It came a time in which my 3 oldest kids, I have to come to them. There's Alex, Carol, and Paula. I have to come to them and have a conversation and tell them I was wrong. The way that I used to do things was the way that I learned. That's not the way. You don't need to ground a child. You don't need the communication, the dialogue, the openness in between yourself and the child. Doesn't matter the age. It's what matters, what is important. So basically, I apologized. That was about 15 years ago. I apologized to my kids. Even they're still with me, and they were being teenagers and stuff. Then one day I realized that whatever I was doing, even because I love them so much and I want them to be protected, not to get in trouble, the whole 9 yards, the way that I was using was exactly the same way with the restrictions that were applied to me, and it was not working. All right? So I needed to have a conversation, a human conversation with my kids and say, like, listen, there's a different way. There's a different way to convey a message. It's a different way to have these interactions. There's a different way to participate, whatever you think it should be in a different, done and say in a different way, and on and on and on. And for my surprise, the response, that interaction, the response and how my experience through my kids changed. Then the 2, I have 5. So the 2 at that time I have 5. So I
hear everyone.
You can hear us?
Yeah,
you can hear us, Tammy? All right. So at that time, I spoke of my 5 kids. I spoke to Alex and Carol and Paula, but then I have Ashley, the little one.
Hello.
That's my singer.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, she can hear us.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, we're just letting Israel finish. He just answered a question.
I hear you.
We were talking about kids.
Yeah, keep going. I might not be able to interject.
Then what I did, then I have Ashley and Axel. They were smaller. They were little, so they did not go through whatever the 3 oldest went through. By the time they reached a certain age, I was already a changed man. It was not that I was a bad person. However, I was using the same style that I was used with me when I was a child, which is not a bad way. However, there's another way to convey messages. There's another way to take care of your family. There's another way to speak to your kids. There have to be a communion. Communion. The same quality that you give your friends or your spouse is the same quality you should have your kids. Treat them not as They have to do what you say, the way you say it, and on and on and on. Rhetoric, mandatory thing, however, a more flexible way. With that, after I applied that, it was about 15 years ago. Then things started changing. And gradually, any change, any transformation that we ourselves take, then that transformation changed everything around.
Yeah.
Everything around.
Yeah. 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 I believe that. I think it is, there's certain times when I feel like I need to get stern with my children because, and that is one thing, with oneness, we've got to be careful with is, and I'm accepting of everybody for the most part. Yeah. But when some people use it or take, what I mean? Take advantage of it. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yes, I'm here and I'm going to be your loving father. And then my kid is like, oh, yeah, okay, well, he loves me. So let's see what I can get away with now. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's still a place I still come from that is more of, I've always been like the friend dad, right? I've always been that way. But a lot of times they've taken it for granted. Oh, yeah. Which I can, I was one of those kids too. And I understand it. But I also understand, there's limits to, people need to understand limits and it doesn't mean that you can't do what you want to do. But yes, I think most people for the most part won't just go do crazy,
insane things,
whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Bad things to people.
Right.
But there are still some that, need their hands slapped.
Right.
You're totally right. There have to be a balance on everything.
Right.
Balance on everything. The conscious approach of not allowing as a parent your emotions to be part of your decisions is very important.
Right.
So know what to say. However, you don't wait until you're emotional about it.
Right.
At school, you said, you know what, this is like this is like that. When you're dealing like with teenagers and so on, will be a time and this contrast will be produced because this new being is exploring. However, when you come and have the conversation from the perspective of the parent and as well, not emotional about it. If it gets difficult, you let go until you're ready to have the conversation.
Yeah,
however,
don't let it get you emotional.
Exactly. When you have the conversation, you have to what is wine is wine, what is bread is bread.
Right.
It's not because
it tends to work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to interject and add to that. It does tend to work when you come from a more calm perspective with your kids, because then they start to go, wait a minute, what's going on? And it makes them think. And that's really what you want them to do, right? You want them to think about what you're telling them.
Right.
And I do feel like that indirect approach, and that more calm approach to them, especially teenagers, you definitely have to pick your battles with them. But yeah, it does work. It's effective.
Yep.
I don't have teenagers anymore. I'm a grown around man with 5 grandkids, but I'm done with it.
Right.
But when I went through all this, I was not the man that I am today. And I went through this when it was the right time, because now the way that I see it is different. So right now it's not the time for me with all that I'm exploring.
Right.
To have kids that I will have to divert the attention from something that we're trying to present. So we already went through this.
Right.
If what I feel now, or what I came to understand from my perspective, was back then, maybe I won't be able to learn what I did. Because I'll be too cautious. However, I was able to be the father, be myself, make my mistakes, learn from them, apologize for them, and now being able to use all this to assist humans that come to me, parents that come to me with problems with their kids.
Yeah.
As you know more than I, that everything we go through in life has a purpose.
That's right.
It has a purpose. We use it. We use it. I used to work with an Italian company doing the lighting when I was a teenager. Well, that was one of my first job, and I loved that a lot. It was one of the jobs, one of the things that I like to do the most. Read with the actors and the movies and the lighting and see how the movie's done and all that. And
you definitely. I think you definitely come. I love that you do come from that kind of entertainment type of, like, you can tell that you have that. Like me, I mean, I'm a guitar player, performer, but you could tell you have that on screen. You know, like you've done this for a while. You know, you have that on screen. It's more of the presence, and that's not something that you just have. Right. It's something that takes developing, right?
Exactly.
Sorry.
And exactly because of that, because in the future, what we call the future, and then now in another station, and now I will be doing this, video thing. So I feel very comfortable with the camera, with the lightings, with the sound. I feel very comfortable with it. So you know what I do? I use my life experience as a reference to do what? To know whatever I learned, whatever was an experience before, how can I use this? Because if everything is coming back related to what I'm doing, so the answers to what I'm supposed to be doing next is on my childhood, is on my life experience. Make sense what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, everything that you've learned to this day, you should be utilizing. Yes, in life. For whatever you're doing. I mean, I'm a musician. I perform, and that helps me do lives. And I use that because I'm not as nervous. Where most people are, I'm not as nervous because I've been in front of thousands of people. And yes, it did freak me out, but I loved it. I mean, but and I'm a carpenter, and I know some math. I knew enough to get paid and work my job, right? But I'm a carpenter. I mean, I do a lot of things. I'm a singer. I'm a songwriter. I'm a writer. But all these things I learned along the way, through trial and error and living my life.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You know what? I don't know. All of us, maybe most of us, we are like, if you see it, we are like, if you take a look at our childhood, it's like we were supposed to do the same things. I played the guitar.
Yep.
I was through a religious belief. It's like there's many things in this group in this team of this family that is doing this live stream, talking about all this expansion, its beauty of life. Like, if we come back to our childhood, like, everything is related. You remember that movie called Crash? Crash is
what?
the movie.
The movie?
Yeah, Crash.
Yeah, that was a cool movie. Yes, very cool movie.
Five different characters, different life. When at the end of the movie, everything was combined and all together. Similar to that. It's like all of us, we have something related.
Yeah, I remember. Right. That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
All right, we got one more question, and then I was thinking we could have some viewer questions, if that's cool.
Yes.
Basically, the last question was...
Did he answer it already, basically?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I think you answered it.
Yeah.
You answered questions that we had. I'm like, oh, awesome, he's already ahead of the game.
Yeah.
As usual.
So really, we're down to see what people...
So now it's just audience questions or viewer questions. The rest of the family.
Yes.
Tammy, I can see Tammy.
Yep. Tammy, can you hear us? Can you see us? I think you can, yeah. Say something, Tammy, to see if we can able to hear you.
For Israel? Tammy.
Oh, my sweet Tammy. Can you?
I guess not. Weird.
All right.
You see any questions? You guys have any questions?
What do you like to do on a Saturday that you're not working with clients?
There we go.
I like the theater. I like movies. I like science fiction movies.
Me too.
I like to read. I read a lot. I like poetry. I like to play the guitar. I spend time with my grandkids. Just a regular guy. I am a very easy going guy. Whatever. I don't need to do a thing
Right.
or go to a place. Whatever it goes, it goes. Normal things, regular things. Nothing special. Nothing special.
Nice. Okay, how do you catch the attention of someone who is just coming into that like awakened or awareness state? How do you catch their attention without what's the word I'm looking for? Because you talk a lot about like the metaphysical in like your shows and stuff. How do you bring someone that's just barely coming into that awareness to a place that they continue to be interested long enough to find out how to do these things themselves?
I direct them to what is important for them. For most people, abundance, prosperity, health is what matters. Family.
There's some people saying they can't hear me.
Yeah, we're having trouble with your audio, Stams.
Darn it.
So I direct, and I don't go deep into someone who just looking for answers.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I see you. I hear you. Can you guys hear me?
We hear
Yeah,
you.
we hear you. You're a little crackly.
From their financial situation or the health situation, the health experience they're going through. So I don't do teachings. So I don't indoctrinate no one, but just use whatever they need. Spirituality is the same as a religious belief. It's a stepping stone. So not everyone is into consciousness in the whole nine yards. And a purpose will be to allow them to experience themselves as joyful and able to produce and able to create anything they wish. It doesn't matter where this creation and all these explanations behind the fact of that they will be able to manifest anything they wish. So love attraction will be an easy way to go. You can attract anything you want. You only have to believe in yourself, and on and on and on. Now, from that end, I am saying you can speak to yourself. I mean, you can speak to your intuition. As I direct them to speak to their intuition, if they do, the doors are there, and that is the connection. Now, as they speak to themselves, eventually, little by little, the expansion will be felt, and they will know that there's something more to it. And if they if they allow it to, that connection within will do the work of allowing them to expand through their understanding, without leading, without pushing. Right. Not everyone will accept all this we say about consciousness or non-duality or any of this. This is very new for humans.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to use what do I want? I want joy. I want happiness, prosperity. Myself. That's what that's what this whole thing is about. It's about. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. So by redirecting the conversation, the interaction to what they need and what they want, little by little, the humans, if they are said, they come to a new understanding that allow them to go more within, connect more within, and get to the point in which you and Norma and Tommy are, in which you already have the knowing. You already feel the knowing. So you're not learning anything. You're just practicing, embodying that knowing. Right. But you don't read books or you don't do anything. You just be yourself because you have accepted that you are here to create your own reality. So to get to the point that you guys are, it takes time for a person that is coming from a struggle. Mm-hmm. So my thing is that insisting on teaching someone something that is not ready for, it's a waste of time, and it takes away the beauty of the opportunity to allow somebody to create and be joyful and be prosperous and experience abundance and in healthy state of well-being and all that. So I take like baby steps. And as I see progress, I give them more little by little. Not the teaching, but the person who's there to listen to them.
Yeah. Very good.
Yes.
Well, thank you. This has been great. Let me see here. We got another question. Erica Hilgas. Do you believe in people's ability to heal?
A 1,000% yes.
Yes, as do I.
Yes, I agree.
1,000%. You are your home healer.
Yep.
Because the illness or the experience of misalignment came from your own perception, our own perceptions.
Yep.
The vibration, let's say the body, the physical form, obeys the vibration. If you feel that you might have a headache, you will have a headache. If you feel that something is going to go wrong, something is going to go wrong. So you're always in control. Now, unconsciously, we create things that we don't want to experience. Are you the creator of anything that is positive or negative? Of course, there's nobody else. There's nobody else there but you creating anything that you experience. That includes illness. Now, the belief that we were exposed from childhood, let's say when I was 5 years, the first images of my life are of my grandmother, my mother's mother, in a bed, dying from cancer, bone cancer. So the images in my head of my grandmother that I love so dearly, and she was nice to all her grandkids, see her in a bed, like getting so skinny, was a very drastic and impacting memory in my life.
Right.
Now, from that to somebody to tell me, oh, she created that, it was a very long shot. Because I said, how can somebody create something and suffer? How? That is nonsense. However, when it came down to the self-realizing that thoughts are vibration. We are now in this form, a vibration that has slowed the speed, for the lack of better words, to become density. So we are a thought form, with vibration that now has a form. Yeah. The same way that we have this body, there's many vibrations there. One of those vibrations that has been created from a very long time is the vibration of illness. That obeys the same way that your body was obeyed and produced in a physical form. So unconsciously, when we see all this misalignment that is produced by illness and all this suffering, we keep like, well, should I stop smoking because I might get cancer? We have these little thoughts, these little demons in the back of your head throwing this thing, because those thoughts were created by someone, and you tune into thoughts that they are like some phone signals everywhere. And then you start like feeding yourself in the background, what should I quit smoking? I might get cancer. And you go, no. But you still, little by little, unconsciously giving in to the vibration of the possibility that something might go wrong. And then your cells are listening. Your cells are listening. Your subconscious is recording. And as your subconscious is recording their vibration, what is going to happen? Eventually, if we don't stop with it, eventually the body has to obey the vibration. So unconsciously, we have created the illness. So can anybody heal themselves? That 1,000%. 1,000% yes.
Nice. And then Katie asks, Israel, do you have big plans for the future, or kind of see where family reunion goes?
Family reunion, which is the name because we are family. Because we are family. That was the way that came up to me, because it doesn't identify with this or that. Family is, everybody loves family. Yes. And everybody can relate to family. You know?
Yep.
Where this is going, there's a purpose behind everything. The purpose of humans with the practicing already, the knowing or the awareness we are, it follows the same cycle that has been coming for a very long time in human terms. So it's like a movie. It's like a series that started way back, and it keeps moving, keeps expanding, keeps developing on and on. Now, if you take a look at the things that we do already, when we invite somebody to the family reunion, we already, when humans allow, they already allow in consciousness or that awareness they are to speak through them, while it's still the human identity stays there. So that was not possible before. So where that is going, The more people become like you, like Tommy, like Norma, the more people become like you, so self-sufficient, so confident, knowing that they are energy, knowing that there's no limitations, and whatever goes through in life, it's the contrast, the clay they need to build something. The more
Right.
people get to that, the more people will be liberated from the limitations of physical mind. And that's what the family reunion is going. More people will come in, more people will coalesce, more people will remember more of themselves. And this remembrance, it is not a knowledge, it's a feeling in which you feel. I know you went through this yourself, Aaron. I remember myself about 12, 15 years ago that I used to say to a friend of mine, there's something there that I don't understand, that I don't know how to say it, but there's more to it. It was a feeling that there was something like a presence, like something there, and you couldn't describe it. As you move through the experience, you realize that was something was the larger part of yourself, what you call your inner self, your inner being, or the non-physical you, or consciousness. Doesn't matter what names we use. However, it took time for that. Now, from that state on which we were looking for something, now we finally are not only that, but we are able to allow that we are through other humans when they allow, which what we call the non-physical coalesce. More people will come, more people will surpass whatever we have experienced. More things that we have never seen before will come to assist. More people will come and say, what are these people doing? How they possibly can do those things? And it will grow and grow and grow and grow. And everyone, it doesn't matter, it's called the family reunion, it's just a group of people. However, the principles, where this is going, all of us will part of it. It's like it's not that we now are friends and doing these things because, no, there is a purpose. It's falling into place. The Teresa La Pred, the this and that, the Top Medina, the Rory, all of it is part of a puzzle that is coming together.
Yep.
Why? Because we did this before. This is how we build the pyramids. This is how we do everything before. A group of people came together. They listened to themselves. They listened to the knowing. They practice the knowing, and they practice the energy behind the knowing in a physical form. And that's why they create so many things as they did. And we go, and that's where we're going.
Yep.
That's where we're going.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. All right.
So Valerie Ann Meadows says, sometimes when giving a reading, some things resonate with the person, but then some things don't make sense. And it causes me to have doubt about being able to read someone. Please help.
The way that I do this, I don't do, when I call it readings, or metaphysical, intuitive, I leave the human out. So Israel Kelly, the human, the same things that it's just that I express and explain what we do with the coalescence, I put myself out of it. So I totally surrender to myself. I leave the human with the family, with the bills, with the whatever out of it, the emotions out of it. And I allow this infinite awareness that we are already to flow through me and just guide me through. I still doing the talking. I still doing the interaction. However, that infinite awareness we are is leading me, and I'm following without questioning. So any question, anything that comes to my head as the human, I just say it without me trying to understand why I'm saying this. I just say it. I don't.
That's it. I mean, I'm a psychic, and that's what I do. I do readings, and you got to understand that some things that you say that don't make sense to them, a lot of the time, a big percentage of the time, it makes sense later. When we're getting readings ourselves, I like to call it psychic amnesia, because sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
Like, because we're in the midst of a reading and we get overexcited sometimes, or we're really focused on one thing or another and not that. Or something. Sometimes it's because, they're lying and they don't want to hear what you're telling them. That happens a lot, you know. But don't see it as not accurate. Just understand it as you haven't connected the dots yet, but you're getting the information.
Right.
So just allow the information to flow, like Israel says.
Yeah.
Allow it to flow through you. Don't try to edit or block it.
Right.
Just let it flow.
Or try to figure it out too much, because I've gotten lost sometimes trying to figure out too much.
Yeah, you're basically just you're connecting that higher higher consciousness.
Yeah.
And you're getting that information from there.
Right.
From way I
Yeah.
So just trust it. Have faith in yourself.
Yes.
Have faith that those messages are coming through for a reason.
Right.
Like Israel said earlier, you're everything happens for a reason. So if that message comes out and some things aren't really hitting with them, which I know it's hard as a psychic to not get that validation back, because it helps with the energy transfer. Yeah. But just understand, sometimes messages aren't going to come through right away, but they will later. Anyway, next question. Let's see here. Emmy or MZ says, how do I restore strength? I'm thinking she's talking about energy.
Is she talking about energy or just a regular emotion, human emotion?
Strength. That I think. We are energy, right?
Strength. So, how do I restore it? Yeah. Basically, she feels like she's lacking strength. How does she restore that?
If she's referring to the spiritual, larger part of herself, the non-physical her, how would she get there? By knowing this. If she's talking about that, by knowing this.
Yeah. I would say restoring your strength. Sometimes you need a chance to recharge.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to give yourself some time. Yeah. It's not that you're not strong. And remember, when you usually ask for strength, you usually get situations come at you that show you how much strength you have.
Right.
So you have a lot of strength. Like he said, knowing it. Yeah. But also, understand, don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes you're not going to feel the happiest. And no matter what you do, sometimes you're going to have those days where nothing goes right. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's one day out of a whole lifetime.
That's right.
You've got plenty of time. It's not all, things will pass.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may happen to all of us that we feel for whatever reason we feel down. Even if it's not coming from us. Whenever any of my daughters, whatever, have a situation, of course, I'm in a human form. Of course, I'm a dad. Above everything, I'm a human.
Right.
And it will come a time in which you feel a little bit like, wow, why this is happening now? However, what I do myself to recover my emotional stability, I come back to any time that I was joyful and happy. And I think about it. Instead of thinking about the problems and the fights with husband, whatever the situation am I going through.
Yeah.
I think about when I saw them all together or happy and so on. And then that put one smile on my face. The vibration, it shifts right away. Even if I was still dealing with the situation, I'm able to put myself mentally, emotionally into something that makes me feel released compared to what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
However, if in the contrary, if we try to fix things or try to understand things right in there when they don't make sense at all, that creates more discomfort. And instead of having emotional balance, you're producing more of the contrast. So visualization is what I use in my case. I visualize good things. Visualize vacation, visualize time together, visualize their gift, visualize. It depends what is the situation that I'm dealing with.
Right.
From my end, it took me, like I said, my entire life to totally surrender to myself.
Right.
So I'm not a good example. My actual life experience is not a good example of how can I say this? Like, do this or do that, because the way that I see it now doesn't really affect me.
Right.
Doesn't really affect me. However, that wasn't like that. It wasn't like that my whole life. I struggled a lot. I was homeless. I remember, I'll tell you a little something about me. Back in the Dominican Republic, when I was a teenager, there was this political situation. And they used to take teenagers, accuse them of communism back in the Dominican Republic. And in a few occasions, in a few occasions, just because I was a student, and the students that were against the government, accordingly to the perception that time and back in the Dominican Republic, I went to jail a few times for 15 days, for a month, and so without being a criminal. Just,
wow.
I mean, so all the residues of whatever I'm bringing from my upbringing is harsh. So when you see yourself in jail and you're wondering, a teenager, you wonder, I haven't done anything, what I'm here.
Right.
And then they used to do this even worse. They used to not to take your name. So when the family is coming to look for you, oh, he's not here. And then you spend days and days and days, sometimes eating from 20 guys and the size of a bathroom, eating from one donna, eating from one carton of milk that somebody brought. It was very difficult. So when I remember all that, whatever happens from this point on, it cannot be though. Right. It cannot. Whatever was bad is gone. Whatever was difficult is gone already. So all this is just pleasure and joy. And whatever was what I went through as a teenager, as a child, and so on. If I use another example from my childhood, my mother was labeled as a bipolar person. Yeah. She used to flip in between identities. And I have pretty hard memories of that. So I understand whenever somebody's telling me, oh, they told me about bipolar or schizophrenic or whatever, I know what they're talking about. I know how to relate to it. Right. So coming back to the answer of the emotional, look in your life for something that will remind you that was always going to be a worse time and a better time.
Right.
That whatever was the worst you were going through in your life is in your past. Yeah. That you were able to went through life up to this point, and now it's time for you to have joy and happiness.
Right.
And because of the exposure of the conditions and filters from other humans, call it your parents and family members, from the way they understood life itself, you went through a process. Yeah. And now you're liberated from that process, and you shouldn't allow the little things, little comments, little feedback, little actions, even if there are big actions from people, to change your inner tranquility and your inner peace and affect your emotionality. That doesn't mean unconditional love doesn't mean that you have to be crucified. It doesn't mean that you have to endure pain because you love them. No. If it doesn't resonate with you any longer, love them unconditionally and move away from it.
Right. Yes.
Simple as that. And you still love them. However, it doesn't resonate with you, you move away from it. Exactly. When the projection, when the human, when the identity, which it was harming you, literally, is able to transcend, is able to expand, then you bring them back without mentioning anything that happens before, without going over details, nothing. There's nothing to talk about. You notice the change, you notice the transformation, you welcome them back, and you keep going with your life without holding emotional distress and discomfort. So emotionality can be switched off when we are aware that everything can change and nothing is permanent.
Right.
And we use the visualization to visualize good times. Does it make sense?
Yeah, makes complete sense. And that's really, I mean, my life, for the most part, is, I'm able to keep myself calm. That doesn't mean I don't, everything I usually do is pretty calculated. So, if I sound like I'm coming from an emotional place, it's to get a certain reaction or to get a certain point across. Right. But I do believe it's important to have that. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. Oh, yeah. I will speak my mind and I will speak up sometimes. If I feel like somebody's being bullied, I'll speak up for sure. Yeah. Because I was once a bully myself, and I know it wasn't a very cool thing to do. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like that, always for the underdog kind of guy, right? but I enjoy my life. I mean, and that's the thing. I think that's why sometimes, because I have that empathy for others, right, that aren't enjoying their lives, kind of like people that are getting put in jail for being called a communist, or the Red Scare thing, which disturbingly that's kind of going on right now in our media, in our news, but yeah, I mean, it is important to let go of that, the stuff that's already happened that you have no control over, not holding on. I mean, I find in my readings, I see a lot of people with guilt and shame. Yeah. And that's really what's holding them back. A lot of their own self-guilt and their self-shame, instead of looking at things and saying, yep, I screwed up. Yep. So now I do it differently. Yep. I want a better experience this time, right?
Right.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Israel. Did you have anything else you wanted to add for the viewers?
Yeah, I want the viewers to support this page. Before you go, like this page, please. Love yourself. Love yourself. It's very important to love yourself.
Yes.
And where can people reach you? Say that again?
Where can people reach you? Let them know where they can find you.
At the end of this video, you can reach me on this page. This page is
That's true.
We all doing the same. We all helping each other. We all helping each other. As I remember Norma, a few occasions, whenever she didn't have time for a client, she sent it to me and so on. And we do this. We try to help each other, and we do help each other. So we're there for each other.
Thank you, brother. I enjoyed having you on.
Yes, I did.
This was a great conversation. I think I got to know more of you on this interview, and I think a lot of viewers did too. Yes. Just your background and where you came from. That's awesome, man. Thank you for answering those questions, and thank you for participating here, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and let's be joyful.
Yes.
I love you all. Thank you all for being here.
You guys have a good one. Love you all. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. We are one.
Yes,
we are.